Welcome to Texas Today. I'm Kristen Dickerson. We're often looking for ways to improve, whether it's learning a new skill or hobby or becoming more efficient at work. However, there are things that can prevent us from reaching our full potential. Today, we have tips on how to overcome them. Here to help us achieve more and compromise less is motivational speaker Jovan Glasgow. Jovan, I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Honored to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you grew up in the Caribbean.
Sure. Yes, I'm from Antigua, which is a small island nestled in the heart of the Caribbean.
And what happened in your life? Because there was some challenges that affected the trajectory of where your life was going.
So my parents were both entrepreneurs, and they wanted me to have an opportunity that they didn't have. So they came up with this elaborate plan to send me to the best place to send a young man struggling with puberty and identity, Miami, Florida, South Beach. Here I was thinking that I was going to go to college to actually find a career, but I actually left with a calling, and that happened as a result of a crisis. So my father, about my junior year, came home with a rare form of cancer, and really within about 9 months, he lost about 90 pounds. And about 3 months after that, he lost his battle to cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I always say that when my father died, my faith died. But the truth is, in that moment, I realized that the most important thing that mattered at the end of his life was impact. And I think that's the thing that really became the catalyst for me to use my life, my gift, to impact others who have experienced loss, adversity, challenges on a day-to-day basis.
Amazing. Why is it that you think some people kind of just go through the motions of life and may not be living to their full potential?
I think it's two things. Number one, maybe they don't believe that they actually have potential. And a lot of this belief system stems from or is the result of experiences or negative interactions that they've had. And these interactions can tend to diminish your 3 V's, your value, your voice, or even your vision. The second thing is that we just don't know how to, right? And I think this is really the result of being in environments that are not necessarily conducive to us. I view potential as a seed. When you plant a seed in sand, it won't grow. But you take that same seed and you put it in soil, now it can actually become what it was created to become.
I love it. And today you're giving us some fertilizer to sprinkle over our seeds. Okay, so let's talk 3 different things that can stifle our potential. First up is entitlement. Tell me about that and how we overcome entitlement.
Well, to overcome it, we must understand it.
Okay.
Entitlement, the way that I define it, is whenever we believe that because of our position, our possession, or even our potential, we should be excused from the process, right? It's when we deal with what I call the solar complex. Just like the sun, we believe that everything revolves around us. And the difficult thing about entitlement is that it robs you from 3 C's, from really seeking greater clarity, from truly having quality connections, and really being challenged. And without being challenged, we can never truly change. So on a day-to-day basis, there are 3 things that I practice. Number 1, I go into the day always looking to serve versus being served.
Ooh, that's good. Look to serve.
Versus being served. And even as we serve, we shouldn't have the expectation of reciprocity, because that in of itself creates entitlement.
That's good.
The second thing is really in our interactions, we look to understand versus being understood, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Really valuing different perspectives, I think, is super, super important. And the last thing is showing up with what I call the empty cup, right? Is having the posture to always learn and receive and really utilize any experiences that you're having as ways to grow.
Wow, I'm already learning so much. I could go home right now and it would have been a successful day. I love it. Okay, next up is gratitude. How do we become more grateful?
I mean, a really practical way is I take my right hand and I put it over my chest, right? And that thing kicking right there is always a reminder that possibility is still possible. Gratitude is a focus thing, and it's the way that we focus as a way to disrupt our negative feelings, right? Really taking the time out to look at the positives. I know it's easy to complain, but even in complaining, we're reminded to have gratitude, because it takes breath to complain.
Whoa, so good. Yes. Okay, this last one is so good. The third thing is comparison. How do we stop comparing ourselves? Because that's dangerous.
Come on now, really dangerous.
Like so bad for you.
It creates limitations. It creates limitations on us, because whenever we compare ourselves, we actually put an invisible ceiling on our capacity. I have a premise that I live by that says comparison and competition should give us a point of reference, but never a point of focus.
Oh, okay.
Really, what comparison is a lack of self-identity. So one of the ways that we really focus on dealing with comparison is truly to pursue personal growth, to really go on this journey of discovering who we are, our unique gifts and abilities and talents, because the more you discover who you are, is the less that you compare what you don't have to somebody else's actual process or position.
Yes, because anytime I find myself comparing myself, I just feel like defeated. And I just want to give up. I'm like, it's horrible.
100%.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about like what you do in life. Like
Sure.
we have learned so much from you in just a few minutes. How can we continue learning more?
Easy way to put it, I'm a motivational keynote speaker. I've written 3 books. I work a lot in the consultancy space with different organizations, just helping them to unlock the latent potential of their teams.
Yes.
And so whether it's looking on my website, of course, I have a plethora of resources to help individuals and organizations that are purpose-driven to truly achieve more and compromise less.
We have just a little bit of time left, but I wanted to ask you about an accident you had when you were a child. Do you mind telling us about
Yes,
that?
sure. At 4 years old, just like a rambunctious child running through the house, I ended up running past the kitchen, and the refrigerator that we had at the time was leaking, and there was a wet spot on the floor, and I ended up slipping, and in that moment I actually broke my neck. And so I had a very intricate surgery where I think the C1, C2 vertebrae, they kind of slipped out of place. And at the time, the technology wasn't necessarily there for surgery of that magnitude. So the doctor actually had to manually put fix my neck to some degree. And any sort of maladjustment would have paralyzed me from the neck down. But good to say I'm here, and my pain really became my purpose at the end of the day.
Wow, I am witnessing a miracle.
Yes.
And it's so good to be with you today. Thank you,
Honored to be here.
Amazing. To get in touch with Jovan, visit IamJovanGlasgow.com. You can also follow him on Instagram at IamJovanGlasgow.